Jordan Corey, and you're listening to AteenView.com.
I was thinking about her, thinking about me, thinking about us.
I'm here with also yes.
Hi, Arin. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Victoria Justice, and you're watching.
How did you get into the music industry?
I started writing my own music and singing when I was 14. I played piano, so that was a big part of my life. And then I sort of went to college. I was in a lot of bands in and out, and I kind of wound up being one of those singer-songwriters. I was in the right place at the right time. So it's just sort of I met the right people, and it kind of led me on the road towards now my first 7-song EP's out, my first music video and single. So.
Okay, and where do you kind of want to go from here?
I'd like to see, I'd like to make a long career out of it. Singing is what I do. I love music, part of my life. My parents raised my sister and I on music, so I'd like to see a long-lasting career out of it.
And since you do go to college while you're still pursuing a career in music, how do you find time to balance both?
Well, that's funny. I always wanted to. When I started music, I never wanted to quit school. I always thought that school has to be there. It has to be a backing because, let's be real. Like, becoming famous is kind of one of those dream things. So I was always like, I got to stay in school. So I kind of budget time around that. Like, I make plans, schedules. I like being busy. I like keeping myself busy with things, so it works.
Who are some artists that kind of inspire you or you draw, like, musical inspiration from the way they songwrite or the way they perform?
Well, I have to say, like, modern artists, I love Amy Winehouse. For as crazy as she is, I think she's insanely talented. She's got a great gift writing music, and I'm really inspired by her. Adele is fantastic. She's got a great voice. She's one of those girls that you can just kind of sit and listen to. She doesn't have to do anything showy. And I love Alicia Keys. Stevie Nicks is fantastic. I'm really into artists who they don't need to have a big show going on. They just need to sit down and do the music that they love to perform.
Okay, and
those are the kind of artists that I think I draw from. Sorry, what?
What would you say your favorite song is at the moment?
Oh, my favorite song at the moment. That's a tricky one. I couldn't even tell you. My favorite song at the moment. Like an old school song or like a current one, like one that's on the charts right now?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. If I were to tell you to go play a song, what song would it be?
I'd probably play Me and Mr. Jones, Amy Winehouse.
What are some things that, like, you draw on in your life to write songs about?
My mom always laughed at me because when I would come home from school, like during high school, I would just sit down and write. Like, it was sort of my way. I'm very outgoing, but when it comes to, like, my personal feelings about things, I keep them really locked up. So music was sort of my way of letting everything out. And so I kind of it's not even like I talk about day-to-day experiences. It's just sort of like a buildup of things that go on. Like, I'll have a bad day, I'll come home, I'll write a bad song. I have a great day, come home, I'll write a great, like a happy song. I sort of just draw on different experiences. I don't even think about what I'm going to write about before I do it. It just sort of comes out.
And what can people kind of expect if they go to listen to your EP that's out right now?
I would say my EP is like a fusion of pop, R&B, with a little bit of soul. It's definitely a mainstream vibe. I want the mass public to enjoy it. So I think if you're looking for something to kind of relax to, but also a feel-good kind of EP, it's what you're going to hear.
Okay, and where can people go to find that?
You can find my EP on iTunes.
Okay, and the best way is just to search your name?
Yeah, you can search my name, Jordan Corey, on iTunes, or you can Google me. I've got a bunch of links that'll set you all up. I've got a Facebook page, MySpace, Twitter, all of the above.
And how do you kind of use your social networks to help with your career?
What's funny is we're actually launching my career exclusively through social media. So right now I have a little bit of print media, but most of it is marketed through social networking sites. So Facebook, my fan page, is a really big hub for marketing. My Twitter audience, we use that a lot for marketing. So it's mainly a viral campaign. I think it's picking up pretty well.
Okay. What's your favorite social network to use?
tough. Honestly, I think I have to say Twitter. I'm starting to love Twitter. At first I hated Twitter, now I love it.
Okay.
It's just a great way to connect. It's different, because nowadays you can really get to know an artist, whereas back then you only knew them through their music, and now I feel like you can really get to know their personality. I think Twitter's a really great tool for that.
Yeah, I like Twitter. I'm on mine a lot.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I was so opposed to Twitter when I first got one. I didn't understand what it was, and then once I started getting into it, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, and it's definitely good because you can hear, like, you can get direct opinions from people, too. You don't have to wait. You can just, like, say something and see what people's response is.
Exactly. You get direct feedback, and I think that's a big thing about what I want to do as an artist. I want to stay connected with my fans, and, I mean, Twitter's, like, the best tool to do that.
Yeah. And what's your Twitter username?
I am Jordan_Corey.
Okay.
It's JORDANCOREY.
Okay, and if you're listening to this, for anyone listening, make sure to look below, because there's a link. So, and then who are, like, your favorite people to see tweets from?
Oh, that's tricky. I follow a lot of news. I'm kind of a political buff, so I follow a lot of news crews. I like that, but I really like Lady Gaga tweets, to be honest with you. They're rare, but I enjoy them.
If you were to go on tour with anyone right now, who would it be?
Lots of good questions today. I would say that I would love to go on tour with any of the women that I mentioned that were my influences, or like Lady Gaga, only because she's awesome.
She kind of is.
She's awesome. It's funny because a lot of people hate on Lady Gaga, but if you listen to her album and her acoustic stuff, it's killer.